Hi guys, how are you tonight? Welcome to my stream. I'm Polish Agnes. I'm your host for today. Hopefully, we will have some guests that are going to join us. Today, I just decided that we really need to talk about what's going on in Connecticut. We have about 6 months left to an election that is going to be extremely important um, for our state. And as you know me, usually everything is political with me. So I would love for Connecticut to become red. Is it going to happen? I don't know. We are working extremely hard to make it happen. I know that people are definitely fed up with the current administration that we have in Connecticut, which are Democrats, as you know. And so, for that reason, everyone is complaining about affordability, everyone is complaining about high rents, they complain about high taxes. They complain basically about everything. I mean, if you know, if you ever lived in a democratic state, you know that they just like to basically take any rights away from you. So, with that being said, if you do want to join me, there is a link in the chat. And in any case you cannot find the link is pinned on top of the chat, and I'm talking about YouTube. If you can't find it in YouTube, there was one posted probably on Facebook as well. But if you do text me in private, probably everyone has my messenger. I can always drop you the link so you can join. I mean, anyone is welcomed at this point. We can just talk about what we know is going on. And I just am a little bit taken by what is going on now with our current administration and current governor. It is so funny because um, you need a green screen. I don't know. This is not working today for some reason because I I can see that it's like weird. Usually it was working better, but oh well, we're gonna live. I wanted this nice flag and Washington D.C. behind me. This is January 6th, and this was always my background lately. And just because we are now with President Trump and everything has really started with January 6th, basically, we all know what happened with the election back then in 2020. And so I'm kind of like sympathetic with it. But anyways, I have 12 people, seven in Facebook, and about five on YouTube currently. It's Friday night. Hopefully, everyone is already after dinner. Everyone can just kind of sit down and um, listen to what I have to say. All right, I had something prepared. So basically, if you live in Connecticut, your wallet is basically getting lighter and lighter and lighter every single day. And the last 2 weeks in Hartford have proven one thing: the liberal majority thinks your hard-earned money belongs to them, not your family, but to them. While we struggle to keep the lights on and the tank full, they just been really working behind the scenes. So gas tax relief was denied, even as gas prices currently skyrocketed. Um, Liberals just rejected a gas tax holiday. They'd rather keep your tax dollars to fund their own pet projects than give you an extra 20 at the pump. I mean, that just speaks for itself. Oops, James, device is not connected. James is here. I don't know what's going on. You're gonna have to, because I can't add you. Something went wrong. Um, what else? Water and electric bill theft. Literally, I don't know if you guys heard about $500 million mistake with Pura. They call it a mistake. Oh, no, they call it an error. But Pura just caved, approving the Aquarian water sale that experts warned could double our water rates and got public oversight. Combine that with some of the highest electric public benefit charges in the nation, and our utilities have become a second mortgage. Like, literally, guys. When I count my water, obviously I pay water for the whole entire building. It's about $400 every 3 months, and then also my utilities like gas, because I have a gas heating. I have obviously my lights, electric. That all is coming to about $600 a month. So that's close to a mortgage if you don't count your taxes and home insurance. Okay, let's see if James came back. No, he didn't come back. James, you gotta maybe try to log in with your Gmail, possibly account, because the YouTube is your Gmail if you have a Gmail account. What else? Oh, there we go. Hey, what's up, James? James is eating ice cream. No kidding. Oh, device is not connected. I don't know what the hell happened again. I don't know what is going on. Anyways, so then housing and funding. While city families struggle to find affordable homes, millions of our tax dollars are being funneled into subsidizes and healthcare for those here illegally. I don't know if you know that, but Connecticut is a sanctuary state. Uh, why are we always last in the lane? Hey, what's going on? Glory be. Glory be. Yeah, okay. I don't think it's a glory be though. someone someone is playing games. I don't know, James, what is going on. Let's see. Let's just text him. Try. Device not connected. All right. Anyways, we're already getting some trolls. I think Glory be was not the one who was trying to get on the stream. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yeah. I lost my notes. Okay. And then in general, more taxes, less freedom from climate superfund, bills that will add 33 cents to every gallon of fuel, to attacking the fiscal guardrails that keep our state from total bankruptcy. The affordability they promise is a total myth. They are betting you're not paying attention. Every time you open an electric bill that looks like a car payment or like a mortgage payment, or watch the numbers fly at the gas pump, or remember who's making these choices. They aren't arbitrary laws, they are deliberate choices to drain your bank account. So, November is coming. It's time to support leaders who prioritize Connecticut families. Fiscal sanity and real transparency. You don't ever get transparency from uh, Democrats, unfortunately. So, anyways, I don't think James is going to be able to come here, but it was kind of an eventful day for James because they went on one of the bridges, like overpasses, and uh, there was supposed to be some Democrats that were going to show up with their signs and banners, and they were going to, I guess, flag wave or protest, against kings, which I believe there is one king. If there is a king, that's Connecticut governor, basically. So, so if they're protesting him, I mean, I don't mind at this point. But as far as I saw the live stream today, I don't think anyone showed up. Meaning, no Democrats have showed up on the bridge. So maybe someone saw people already waving flags because they were gigantic flags, and I can probably show you guys what was going on if I go to Facebook. There was a live stream from James that okay that he had it going. I want to show you guys. All right, I have someone else trying to get in here. Let's see. Woo! Hello.
What's happening?
Hey, what's going on? I was just trying to find your stream from today.
I am a technology challenged.
A little bit.
Yeah, Kathy, myself, and our dog is out getting ice cream together.
Yes, I know. Isn't that you guys' favorite thing to do?
We do it, I don't know, once a week or so.
Yeah. Did you give your doggy a little bit?
Yeah, we get him his own. He's spoiled.
All right. So I am going to show the live stream. Give me 1 sec. I just forgot how to do all of this.
Yeah, I couldn't get it on my phone either.
Share screen. Okay.
Have not stopped moving. It is 5 after 4. The Democrats have not shown up. I guess they surrendered the bridge to us. This is our bridge.
Surrendered it.
Our bridge.
Hey, wait, wasn't the lady saying her post again that she said they got their defeating maggot merit badges? Well, who has the merit badge now? Who has the merit badge now? That's what I thought.
That's what Rob said he wasn't going to make it today.
Hopefully they're off doing something more productive with their lives today than trying to.
Probably crying. Probably lots of crying.
Lots of crying.
I'm going to be like, I'm good. They took our bridge. They took our bridge. No, I could tell. I could tell you were beta. I could tell.
Didn't even take that many flags and banners neither.
No. I mean, this is more than they usually. They usually like put them on the side here. Oh, she waved and put her head down. She waved and put her head down. Oh, yeah. They're so used to like the left being here that they are just like instinctually beeping all the time.
Yeah. Not today.
No, sir. No, sir.
Not today.
I got my other protest I'm excited about.
Yes. Hopefully this will motivate you a little bit.
It does. This is great. This is amazing. This is amazing. Once again, awesome freaking dude. The best. The freaking best.
Well, we're all fans of yours too, Rob.
Is this the one that you're showing the flag?
Yeah.
What's that?
Is that the one you're showing the flag?
People driving by,
Yeah.
I can't hear you over the video.
I watched one. I think earlier. Is that the one that you're showing all the flags?
I took out a whole bunch of flags out of the car, but the
Yeah.
problem is the wind was going absolutely nuts.
Hmm.
Some of the big brand new flags I had hung up today, they ripped the grommet holes out of them. They were brand new today.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how bad the wind was. So, but well, there was only 5 of us.
Yeah.
Rob was Rob,
It's a
Rob
lot.
was saying that last week, I guess 15 people showed up, and a bunch of them told him that they came because of Rob was going to be there. And
Uh-huh.
I guess normally he says normally like 7, 8 people go, but because they're trying to make a point to him. And Rob also said that they've were celebrating, that they had been there, going there for a year. So today was the first day that they apparently never ever went.
Yeah.
We had 2
Well,
people that showed up that had a flag that looked like the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, but it had a boot, and they were trying to call us bootlickers.
okay.
Yeah.
I was looking for I think this is the probably the first stream that you did was the one where you were showing what you guys hanged. So let me see if I
Oh,
can find it real quick because it actually looked really cool.
we only had like 7 or 8 flags up and 2 banners. We didn't. I brought a bunch more stuff. People are happy to see us today. Getting a lot of beeps. A lot of beeps. People, who's coming? All right. So, Rob was saying we've gotten more beeps today than the Democrats have ever gotten down here, and we haven't even been here that long. So, again, beeps from the highway and from the road. People driving by. Said this is a really busy road. Really busy road. Like I said, we're on the 195 bridge. So that's the Yukon right here, the Yukon exit. So highways down below us. Is there more beeps? Lots of beeps. People are on our side. I think they're sick of the Democrats. See, look at that, beeping, more beeping. We had somebody throw something at us earlier. They chucked this bottle of water, which was full at the time. Luckily, it didn't hit anybody. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us here in total. He said, says, join the largest terrorist organization in America. Become a Democrat today. Its face, so everybody down the highway can read it. We got our Trump One Save America flag. This thing is gigantic. It's, I think, 6 foot by 10 foot. It is huge. Got our fellow patriots over here, Ray and Natalie, 2 badass friends. We got our mystery person over here that doesn't want to be identified. Also, somebody I've known for a while. Some of these are faced, so the people driving by can see them. Some of these are faced, so the people down on the highway can read them. These are also so the people driving down the street can see them. Again, I had a lot more and I brought a lot more, but the wind is not in our favor up here. This is another, I guess, 6 foot by 10 foot flag. These are the 2 largest flags that I got. I got these recently, not too long ago. So this is their first outing. This is my banner I just got like 3 days ago. It says Republicans that don't vote elect Democrats. So here's our man, Rob Vidaro. I had to run to the car.
So you had a lot of flags hanged up, the big ones.
Not really. We only had like 7.
Okay.
That's it. I had brought like another 20 to hang up, but the wind was on that side of the bridge, the wind was going nuts.
Mm.
And we were expecting them to show up, the Democrats to show up, but they didn't.
I don't know. They saw you. They never bother.
Rob was saying one of the people that normally goes there drove by and just kept on driving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, however you want to look at it, I mean, I think there's a lot been going on because what happened in New Britain with the tax collector, her name is Cheryl, and they supposedly investigated, right? That there was some kind of mishandling of, taxes backdating. So I guess there was not like I don't know, penalties weren't going to get paid and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of strange, the timing of it, and
Are you sitting?
huh?
Nothing. Kathy's taking out the dog. He's
okay. Yeah, and so it's kind of funny because it's happening right, a few months before the election, when Erin obviously was the mayor of New Britain, which where I live. And everyone likes her a lot, and she's gaining a lot of support. And I think what is going on, they literally scared that she may, be able to take over, and that she's gonna get endorsed as well. So I was just like, yeah, okay. This is the second like big case in New Britain. There was also another one, like, I don't know, a couple months ago or something like that, with another individual in New Britain that they were like so upset about because they said something on their Facebook page, like something kind of a little derogatory. And then so now this is such a big deal. And then I'm just like, okay, well, I get that you investigated it, maybe found something, or you were just saying you found something. Until I see criminal charges being brought up and a person actually being, sentenced, or I don't know, whatever, get some jail time, I'm not going to really take this as, oh, we investigated and now we see. They didn't say they investigated anything, and they found something, which I find it really funny. The timing is funny. But I also saw you send me the flyer about Betsy, but I didn't have the time to really take a good look at it. So we have another candidate that is running, and I suppose she needs signatures and she needs donations.
Yes, can you post that and like you did the video, so anybody who's seeing it can see it?
Yeah, of course.
I was asked to share that out.
Yeah, totally.
Betsy's the candidate that I've been personally supporting. Again, we're all Republicans, but we can all make our own independent choices. But again, I like Betsy. I like Betsy's message. So kind of I'm going down there tomorrow. John Flynn and I are gonna end up going down there. So, but I was asked to share that flyer out. Betsy needs signatures, and she needs some donations to try to help her get over the threshold so she can qualify for that grant, so she can really get her campaign really off the ground. You know what I mean? But again,
So
if you could
change of location. So where was this supposed to be?
I'm not really sure what it was supposed to be, but it is currently going to be at Betsy's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Change
that's at her house.
Oh my Lord. Fuel the Fire joined Betsy for an exclusive dinner. Stars of the night: Vinnie Penn, Betsy, Dick Morris. Betsy's top priorities: accident tax, property tax hikes at 2%, protect homeowners and our beautiful towns. All right, host committee, which I do not know who these people are. Saturday, April 18, cocktails and dinner, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay, I'm not gonna read the address here. I mean,
Yeah.
she's brave if she's doing that, in her own home. I mean,
Well, what I think it is that shows you how serious she is about wanting to be governor. You know what I mean? Again, her address is going to be public anyway on documents and stuff, so you're going to be able to look
yeah,
that up. You know what I mean? It's not really a surprise. You know, like again,
right,
everybody knows where Ned Lamont's house is as well. Again, they went and did events at his house, protesting
yeah,
and stuff. So
yeah.
it's not when you're a public official. You know what I mean? Whoever you are in the government, all that information is public anyway, so it's not a secret. But again, she could, to make it harder, she could have had it somewhere else. But again, I think good on her for having it at her house, inviting people there, and
Mhm.
there's going to be food and stuff. And like I said, she needs signatures, and basically some more donations to unlock the grant. From what I understand, from what I've been told, not from Betsy, but from other people, I guess it's a $19 million grant it unlocks. That's what I was told. If that's
So
accurate, and
what
I'm
was the
not sure.
number to be raised? 300 or something
Uh,
thousand?
I think it's either 340 or $350,000 needs to get raised. It can only
Wow.
be raised within the state, so the donors can only be from within in Connecticut, and the maximum donation is $340. So if somebody could
Okay.
go there and what I mean, donate $10, $20, $30, even if you can't go tomorrow, look up Betsy's campaign. And again, I'm assuming based on the other people, she's either got WinRed or Anodot. I'm not sure which one. Those are the two apps that people
Okay.
use to
I
collect
mean,
money.
I suppose anyone can donate. Just the signatures
Uh,
are going to come from
just
Connecticut.
well, no, donations for a state office can only be from within the state.
That's it? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
If you are running a federal election, like
Uh-huh.
Jonathan and George Austin, that can get money from anywhere in the country. They can for their
Uh-huh.
because that's a federal. Again, I'm still learning all this myself. You know what I mean? So I'm new at this.
Right.
So
Did you
again,
know Betsy is 77?
well, Trump is
Years
like
old.
78 or 79.
I know. She's like right up there with him. But she does not look like, oh my God, there's just no way I would ever. If I didn't read that somewhere, I'd be like, no, you're kidding me. She's sharp. Like she really is. I'm trying
Well,
to find her website.
like I said, she's I believe, a constitutional lawyer. Um, she's worked at Newsmax. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think she might have written a book. I could be wrong on that though. Again, I don't,
Okay.
I'm not her
Yeah.
biographer or nothing, so I don't know all the details, but you know what I mean? Like I said, she's been around a minute, so she's done a bunch of different things. She was the lieutenant governor of New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like I said, that's some of the stuff that I know of. And like I said, the state of Connecticut income tax was only supposed to last a year. Okay, I graduated high school back in 1992, and I remember at 18 years old, everything was brand new, collecting money,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, get my first check. And the guys that I was working with doing roofing back then were absolutely mad. They were probably 35 years old, but it seemed ancient at the time. And they're like, oh, this isn't going to be like that. It's only supposed to last a year, and they're going to lie to us. And sure enough, they lied. And here we are 34 years later, and we still got this income tax that was only supposed to last a year. There
I'm
are
afraid,
something like
I'm afraid it's going to
what's
be
that?
hard. I'm afraid it's going to be hard to get rid of the state income tax.
Well, I
I
think
mean,
get rid of all the. I think get
to
rid
be
of the
honest
fraud
with
and
you,
all the welfare programs, and then it won't be so bad.
I get that, but wouldn't you rather make an impact on property taxes than the state income tax? I would leave the state income tax and have the state fund all the cities so everyone pays for the same thing.
But I
Not
think
that,
that
just homeowners funding everything, this way
yeah,
here.
Determined by the town.
yeah, the property tax is determined by the town. It's not by the state.
Well, no one says we can't change that, can we?
Again, I'm not running for office, so I don't know everything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but how is she gonna? How is she gonna? She gonna get grants from federal? Because how are
Well,
you gonna run?
there's again, if you go and cut some of the employees, just like Trump is doing with getting rid of the, you know what I mean, all these federal employees that we have and all the fraud and all the waste, you know what I mean? Then you could, you know what I mean? They should slim the budget down, you know?
Well, yeah, totally. I absolutely. I mean, we were what 200 million. I think we had overages and stuff. Which is they offered what $200 freaking credit and the taxes that I saw when I was doing my taxes. It was so funny. That now all of a sudden, right before the election, that you're gonna get $200 credit, but everyone is going to get this credit, but everyone actually pay into the system so they can get that credit, because that means me and you paid into the system, someone else who did not work but they're filing taxes, they're going to get that credit. I think it's so freaking unfair. Why are you overtaxing us that you have overages? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, sounds like they're trying to buy votes to me.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
$200 isn't going to buy me.
No, 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 no.
Again, last year I went up to they had a hearing for the electrical, okay, because electricity is so high, okay, and the Republicans were trying to make their case about it. The Democrats, who are in power, did not care. They didn't care one bit. Again, I sat there for 8 hours in this hearing, and again, it was probably 6 hours in before all the I don't know what you want to call them, all of the Republicans got done speaking, or the people from the electric company got done speaking. By this point in the day, the general public got sick of hanging around for hours and hours because, again, most of us don't know how this works. And they probably thought they were going to run in there and be able to speak their mind and say what they wanted to say and leave. Well, after they're waiting 6, 7, 8 hours, then basically they just got tired and had to go.
Yeah.
You know?
You know how
So,
it is. They're just passing all these bills whenever they can, and like in the middle of the night without public being even involved. So that's
well, that just showed me.
It's clearing it.
That showed me that they don't care. Is what it showed me. You know what I mean?
About
The Democrats, you could see the look on their face that they just didn't even care. And again, that electrical bill is affecting all of us. Everybody. Again, doesn't matter if you're running a business or whatever the case may be. It affects everybody. And again, and all they're doing is giving away the money and they're stealing from us. Okay, and then let's talk about another thing that really annoys me is those cameras, those flock cameras they're putting everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
For surveillance. You know what I mean? I watch videos online from over in Europe, and they're over there spraying them with stuff, putting stickers on them, cutting them down, because those people have had enough. And all they're doing is doing that so they can get into our wallet.
Yeah.
And again, they cut so many of those down over there. I'm not sure if it's United Kingdom or England. They cut so many of them down and destroyed them that they just gave up. The government gave up. But here we are over here, and they're just starting to put them up everywhere. I mean, Middletown has 4 of them. How much money did they collect from that, Kathy? Over $1 million?
Somebody was saying 4 million.
Kathy's saying that they had collected over $4 million in, 60, 90 days, something like that?
6 months.
6 months, Kathy's saying.
Holy shit. Wow, that's a lot.
They're stealing from us. They're stealing. Yeah. If you want to catch me, I'm okay with it. Get a cop. Get the cop to pull me over, give me the ticket. And if I legitimately did it, give me the ticket. That's fine. But this whole catching people with a camera, okay, is BS.
But they're entrapping you because it's at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like the one over in Middletown is at the bottom of a hill. You're rolling down a hill, and you know what I mean? Next thing you know, you're getting a ticket in the mail. Again, what if I'm
I mean, you always know that camera is always there,
Well, what it is now you kind of use Waze, WAZ, Waze will tell you how the cameras are, but not everybody has Waze. And well, then people are saying, well, that's okay. It doesn't affect me because I don't speed. Well, that's great. Well, the next thing you know, after you don't speed, well, maybe you don't like wearing your seatbelt. Well, then they're going to give you that. Or the next thing you know, the camera's being used because you were looking down at your screen or something. Again, it starts off with good intentions, like everything else in this world. And next thing you know, they're using it for something else. But the bigger part of that is, I heard, remember the guy Mike who owned the motorhome that was out here, the Trump bus?
Yeah.
He was an officer for, he was an officer for like 18, 20 years in California. Ruled
Whoops, you're breaking. Woo, we cannot hear you. Right spot. Okay, hold on, because you were breaking. If I remember Mike, and then what's up after that?
Mike with the motorhome was a police officer for 18 or 20 years, and he says that those speed cameras are unconstitutional. That's what he said. They've been ruled unconstitutional.
Yeah, we have Ed, my very good friend from the past, from the convoy, who always been joining the streams. He's from Michigan.
Hello.
How you doing, Ed?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Cool.
We can hear you.
I haven't been in here a while.
Yes, a long time. We haven't been really doing much except the live streaming. But when it comes to the podcasts, because I don't drive anywhere, now it's very rare. Okay, hold on. Sal wants to join. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna send him. I'm gonna send him, I guess, the link to his phone, because I don't know, maybe in Messenger it's not working that well. But now, like they just passed a law that you can kind of sue the police officers privately, and so now they're all afraid to really do their job because they won't want to be responsible. And I've seen it with my own eyes, not this past whatever protest that we had, but before. I mean, they just strictly want to rely on the cameras. If you have a camera footage, they maybe are going to do something, but they currently do not want to arrest anybody because people are going for a wrongful, arrest. That's one thing. And the other thing is, if you can sue them just like privately like that, they're just not going to do anything. They're not going to risk their life, and they're just. I mean, I think it's a little crazy. I think we have reached a whole another level of, cameras being always in our ways, and cops having cameras, you're having cameras, and it's like, a camera on top of the camera. And I don't know. It's just became really weird. Lately in Connecticut, I have noticed this. I mean...
Well, there are flock cameras absolutely everywhere. They're in parking lots everywhere.
I know,
you
right?
Know what I mean? And then what I've been hearing is they're taking that, tracking the car, tracking the stickers on the car, tracking your movements, and all that's being basically stored. Also, too, what I'm hearing is, I guess the government cannot do it, but since Flock is an independent company, they can gather all that information and then sell it to the government. Yeah. That's how I heard that they're getting around that.
Watching us? Doug is watching us. Hi, Doug, Paul, whatever. We want to say hi to you from Connecticut. It's the person who connected us all. Spring Hill, Florida is saying hi. He says, his electric bill is like 150 last month. It was 135 the month before. My electric bill is about $150, but I am literally not home at all. Like I work two jobs, and the only things that I have connected is my fridge. I mean, some lights outside that go on, at night, possibly, and some LED lights, under my cabinets, and that's it. So how am I paying 150? And I do laundry once a week, literally, and it's a couple loads. I mean, why is it so expensive? All right, we're waiting on Sal.
We're getting robbed is what it comes down to. They keep stealing from us.
I mean, where is my gas bill, which they are already threatening me. This is my gas bill. I don't know. Wait, I probably got to turn off the background.
Yeah, I got fuzzy or did something.
There, 315.
Well,
So-
oil right now is $4.48 a gallon from where I get it. It was as high as $4.98 before the whole. I mean, again, during the middle of what's been going on in
I
Iran.
was talking about the heating. My bill.
Yeah, but we use oil at my house.
Oh, okay.
The home heating oil, but
Yeah.
home heating oil before we went into Iran was $2.59 a gallon. Then it went up to $2.79 a gallon, and then it creeped up from there. And again, it was as high as $4.98, but it's down to $4.48. So it's down 50 cents from the high that it was. But again, during most of the winter, it was around $2.60 a gallon or so.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
but again,
Ed, what is your electric bill? Because your place is fairly
Yeah, I just
smaller,
paid,
right?
yeah, I just paid today, as a matter of fact.
Huh.
It was $90.38.
holy cow.
Oh, do you pay for public benefits, something like that? That is just like extra added, few bucks because other people never paid during COVID.
What?
Something
Yeah.
it's called
Yeah.
Yeah.
public benefit that we
Public-
pay.
Public
I'm gonna-
benefits.
Yeah.
In Michigan, we don't really have that problem here. I mean, we've got a large population north of Detroit of Middle Eastern people, but they're not living off the state funds or federal funds. They have jobs, that kind of stuff. So we don't have a huge migrant population in Michigan.
Yeah. Well, our governor decided to add public benefit to the gas, which is your heating and electric. I do not know where my freaking bill is. I can't find it right now to show you guys. But our electric, depending on how much is it. So if I'm paying my bill, if my bill is $150, I think my public benefit is around $15 or $20. That my bill should be like $20.
$185. I paid $125 to public benefits.
Here, listen to what Kathy says. Go ahead.
We paid $125 this month in public benefits on our bill. My bill
What?
was $285 this month.
$125.
Yeah, $125. Just public benefits.
That's crazy.
And we don't keep all the lights on in the house. It's just
Right now, the heaters.
yeah.
Waters.
Well, yeah. We got a hot water heater that's electric.
No, the bird water.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, but still, we have again because we got the chickens, ducks, and turkeys. So we had heaters for the water dishes. They're like dog bowls. They're outside, but Again, that's not, it shouldn't be that much, I would think.
So it adds over $100 a month to the bill.
Oh, wow. Kathy's saying that the outside water dishes for the birds adds over $100 a month. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, that is. I would go under if I had to pay that much money. That would be a problem.
Again, like I said, normally we don't leave a whole lot of stuff on. It's not like we're out, leaving lights on, leaving the house. You know what I mean? We're always shutting everything off that we can.
Yeah, at my age, I had a fixed income, so I couldn't afford to go that high. I live in a real nice place, you know. Everything's fairly reasonable here right now, anyways. I mean, it's more than it was before the last administration screwed everything up for everybody, but it's still not unreasonable so far. It's getting a little tighter, but I heard you talking about gasoline for cars a little bit earlier, and I just filled up my tank today too, as a matter of fact, and that was $34.70. So,
What are you guys paying a gallon out there?
Right now it's $3.79.
Wow,
The cheapest I just saw, we're up in the Brown Turnpike. We just, I saw it at $3.63. What'd you pay?
$3.60.
Kathy paid $3.60 on the Brown Turnpike. But again, mostly around here, it's about $3.80 to about $4 a gallon. I think I paid $3.85 earlier today over in Middletown. So.
Yeah, we are always higher because our gas tax is usually like 30-40 cents a gallon,
Yeah,
So-
we have a high gas tax too. So, that's.
Yeah.
I live in a purple state.
Yes, I know. But you guys flipped when Trump came.
We're red right now, but this coming election, it's depend on turnout. We still use precincts here. We don't have centralized voting in counties like they do, like in Arizona and places like that. So we're still local on our voting, which makes it better because, the smaller group of voting is better for accountability than if you go with massive ones where they can slip things in there without you seeing it going on. I don't know what it's like in Connecticut. Do you guys have local precincts, or do you have one central voting place in each county?
Generally, we go to schools.
Each town.
Yeah, each town has a school.
So you
We
got
go to the
local
school.
precincts, yeah.
And depending on, like, for example, in Meriden, Scott and I back in 2024 went up and put out signs for Matt Corey, who was running, I think, for Senate at the time. And Meriden, we probably went around to, I don't know, probably 8 or 10 different places in Meriden. Meriden is not that big. Meriden has 60,000 people. But again, in Durham, we put up one sign at one place because there's only one voting place there. And then in Middlefield, we only put up one. But we went to 3 different towns. But like I said, Meriden had quite a few.
All right, we got Saul here with us. Hello, Saul.
Is that
How
Sal?
are you? It's my buddy from.
Hi guys, how are you?
What's going on? Are you ready for tomorrow? Sal is running.
How you doing, Sal?
Hi guys. In fact, yes, I am ready, and like we will be at Hartford Public Library at 11 a.m. and you are all invited. Please come, and you will be able to meet all the candidates from New Britain.
So there are 3, right? So there's Sal, there's Jamie, and there's Tremel, right?
Yes, Tremel is running for state senate, and he will be responsible for New Britain, Berlin, and some parts of Farmington. And because of New Britain's population, there are 2 state representatives. And at District 26, I am running for the state rep. And Jamie Guggen is also Wogan is also running for District 25, and we will represent together.
Yes, awesome. You guys are so cool. I love you guys. I love Jamie and I love you, Sal. We just recently met not too long time ago at the freaking bridge this overpass that we did that flag waving. And I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Where are you from? You're forbidden. We don't know each other. Like, how did this happen? You know? And so now all of a sudden he sends me this freaking flyer. Agnes, I'm running, get me signatures. I was like, whoa, what is going on here? But to be honest with you guys, we need people that are going to run. We still have so many seats that are not filled, and no one is running against Democrats. If we want to change something, we have to have people that are going to run, and we have to have them raise the money and have some, raise the signatures as well. So Sal, can you tell us how many signatures do you need and how many donations? What's the number?
In fact, it is 6,800, and they want minimum 150 signatures from your own district. Basically, but sometimes they refuse the signatures at the campaign financing. That's why it is safe to send at least 180 signatures from your own town, and then even if they are $5 each, it counts as a signature. Basically, minimum $900 from your own city, and the rest can come from the rest of the country. And that's the part about the public financing. But the good part is, as soon as you get it, then you are not using any special interest money, and you don't have to, then you are you represent people, and you are not on the mercy of special interest for anything else.
Okay, so how long do we have to raise all this money and the signatures?
Holy Jesus.
The quicker, the better.
I need to go there.
Because as soon as campaign financing is secured, then we can work full speed on the campaign itself and reach to the people and tell about ourselves, what we represent, and basically go door to door, do flyers, and meet with people, listen to their needs. What do they need? And we can go from that. And when I ask about, to the people, who is our current representative, they don't know the name. I say Dave. They say Dave who? And Dave who? That's the reaction I am getting. But it will be different. I believe in representation. I believe in elections, not selections. And when I saw that only 61 people were running out of 151 seats, I decided to run. And
so which district are you running in?
I am running in District 26.
Is that state or federal?
State.
So he's running in my city. So my city is divided to two districts for some reason, unknown reason why the line goes that way. But we have two districts in New Britain, and Sal is running for one of the districts, which is District 26. And it's kind of funny because, I really love this for you, Sal, because, you're an immigrant just like me. Remember when we talked on the bridge? I was like, you have an accent. Where are you from? And then their conversation has started, so we have someone who is kind of similar to me, where you just came to this country and you care about this country so much that you wanted to see the change. So Sal has told me that he lives in New Britain even longer than I do, longer than I'm even in United States. It's been 25 years. So can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Yes, in fact, I came to United States back in 1999 to pursue my MBA at University of Hartford. After finishing my MBA, I started working, and my company sponsored me through my immigration process, and I got my green card. Then I got my citizenship. Then I met my wife. In fact, she is also Polish American, and she was born in Poland, immigrated to United States, became a citizen, and we got married after we were both citizens, and
That's awesome.
we
Am I going to
appreciate
as well?
we appreciate this country a lot. And in fact, she's my biggest supporter, and she knows what socialism and communism means for the
Yeah.
people and that lifestyle, and that's why she's my biggest supporter in this election campaign.
How old is your wife? When did she come to United States, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, she's, like she came, I think she was 18 years old. And, in fact, she has a sad story because her father and mother got married in Poland. And then her father came here to, work. But the communist government didn't give passport to my wife when she was a baby. And her mother couldn't leave Poland because of that. And then her father made a life for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, like time passed, and then he took her here and sponsored her. And when she was here, her, father's second wife passed away from cancer. And then he started dating back with his first wife, and they got
Wow.
married.
Oh, really? No kidding.
Yes,
Hey, it was
yes.
true love. What do you want?
In fact, they always say in Polish Catholic culture, it is your first marriage that counts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, back in Poland, everyone needed to get married in church. That was the
Yeah.
thing because the country was extremely religious. I am just, is your wife religious? Are you religious? How did you guys put the two religions together?
Okay. In fact, we are more, I am more a kind of a faithful person than a religious person. I believe in God,
Uh-huh.
and I believe that, like our conscience is something that God gave as a piece, and that our conscience lives inside of us as a part of the God.
Mm,
And as long as you are a good person and you do the good deeds, nothing else matters.
yeah.
And religions are supposed to unite people, not divide people.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and our relationship is like that. And in our like home, like she of course goes to church time
Mhm.
to time, and I always support her, and I
Yeah.
always go with her.
Yeah.
And she knows that there are three important cornerstones of my life, which is faith, hope, and charity.
Mm-hmm.
And my faith is in God, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
always have hope for better. And our charity is not always, of course, you give goods, you give money, but the biggest charity is the time that you give. Because in a person's life, the most valuable thing is the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if we give your time for a good cause, it is the biggest charity that you can do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just to mention that you are from Turkey. I
Yeah,
don't think I have mentioned that.
yes. I am originally Turkish, but I have been here for a long time.
Yeah.
And in fact, I see myself like half Polish right now.
Yeah.
And
Well, you live in New Britain, so
I
I'm
know
sure. Yeah,
I
I'm
live
sure
in New Britsky.
New Britain. Yes, I'm pretty sure that you have definitely visited few of the Polish stores that we have here, in New Britain.
Of course, like a lot of them. And in fact, I been to the Sacred Heart Church a lot.
Oh yeah.
And also, I have been to the Sacred Heart Cemetery,
Oh
unfortunately,
yeah.
several
Okay.
times.
Yeah, unfortunately or fortunately, you get into the culture, you want it or not. I mean,
It is
25
mute
years
right
ago,
now.
yeah, 25 years ago, New Britain was a lot more Polish than it is now. Now it's a lot more Spanish. But I when I first got here, I think my first visit to New Britain was in 2008, and I came in 2007. And someone has actually told me about New Britain being, Polish. I had no clue, no idea, to be honest with you, that Connecticut has had such a huge Polish community, and I came here, and first where I went was the church, because it was so familiar to where I came from. The church stood out, on Broad Street. It was like, it's really Polish. So then I was like, oh my God, all these stores? Like, where am I? And everyone was like, oh, it's this huge Polish community, yada, yada, yada. Unfortunately, years later, we lost it a little bit. A lot of Polish people have moved out, like you were telling me, hey, Agnes, I need signatures. And I started thinking who I can ask, and it's got to be a New Britain resident. I mean, I know people that still have businesses, all these like restaurants, and everything else, but they don't live in New Britain anymore. They have moved out because, unfortunately, schools, whoever had kids, the schools are just not really nice or good, you'd say, in New Britain. So, they moved to like Berlin, Burlington, Farmington, which are a lot better towns with a lot better mill rates, lower taxes and better schools. So I'm still trying to get you the signatures. I have sent like the text messages to everyone I know, but unfortunately, like the donations, donations are just so hard to get at this point. I think a signature is one thing, but the donation is another thing. And whenever someone says, oh, I gotta donate, oh my God, like this is such a big deal. And I'm like, do you want it to change or not? Okay, we have to give these people a couple bucks so we can see the change. Otherwise, we will never be able to flip the state without the people that are running. We have to allow them to run, and I'm still trying. And I think what's going to happen, I'm just going to come out with a megaphone. I'm going to start screaming through it. I need signatures. Come out and sign,
So, what are you doing for name recognition, and how long have you been pursuing this district seat?
Sal, can you hear us? Whoop.
Looks like he froze up.
Yeah, Sal, can you hear us? Are you You're not frozen, Sal. Can you hear us? Sal? Oh yeah, he did. Something went wrong. Yeah, he's not really, he just started it like oh my gosh, he sent me that he's running, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. Because like I said, there is a huge problem here in Connecticut. People are not running. They're afraid to run for some reason. We don't have enough. Hey Sal, you're back.
Yes, I don't know it. I couldn't hear anything.
I know something went wrong. Ed,
So,
can you repeat your question?
yeah, the question is, what are you doing for name recognition, and how long have you been running?
In fact, I am not a career politician, but I have been working hard on that, you know. In fact, I am the president for Hartford chapter for Connecticut Republican Assembly. And besides that, I am also active at, you know, like I have been active at American Midwest Coalition for Democracy. And you can see my articles there. And I directly work with Professor Walter Harris and Ken Timmerman. And having it said, in these elections, I decided to be active on the state side too, and the local side too, and I have been working on that. And in fact, right now, you know, like I have been very active on fundraising and outreaching to the people.
So, what do you see as some things that you believe that the citizens need to have done in government at the level that you would have any influence?
In fact, what I am looking for is number one, work on lowering cost of living, and then improving public safety and neighborhood quality, and also support small businesses and have job creation, and also bring real accountability to the state spending. You know, I can go over all of these line items one by one, and like for example, lower cost of living for families in state of Connecticut. Cost of living is very high, and direct and indirect taxes are also very high. And I can give you an example like, hey, if you look at it, state spending is so much. Like, I will give you one example. North Carolina's population is 3 times more than Connecticut, and we spent the same money on our budget. Okay? Basically, we spent 3 times more than North Carolina, as an example. And you know, and they want to spend more. And that's why they do the right now indirect expenses like public benefits charges on the electricity bills, or they want to put speed cameras to the highways, which will charge $75 for the first offense, then $200 after that. And these are just 2 examples, you know. And then, you know, also cost of living goes up, especially on the real estate and the property taxes, because state capped Board of Education expenses to the municipals at $1 billion since 2013. And they have never increased it by the cost of living and inflation. And as these expenses went up, guess what? Cities and towns, they had to increase their real estate taxes and property taxes. And people got taxed from that perspective, you know? And as we know, the public safety and the neighborhood quality problems, especially in Britain. You know, there are lots of blighted properties. There are lots of rundown properties. These need to be taken care of. And we need to also work with federal government for the public safety too. Like one of the things that criminals don't like is light. Every street should have lights. There shouldn't be any dark streets. And this money should come from federal grants and state, not from the municipals, you know. And this has to be worked with. And of course, there should be enough police force to ensure that we have security. And this means that we need more investment in the public safety. And for example, also on the small businesses, I have a plan called Rebuild Nibirutin. As you know, we lost Stanley this year, more than 300 jobs,
Yes,
which
300.
is,
Yeah.
yep, more than 300 jobs. And for that one, I use AI and found the emails of all business executives of Nibirutin and sent my plan how to rebuild Nibirutin and to make it business friendly and create new jobs. And one of them, as a part of it, like also bringing back manufacturing to Nibirutin for the like stable jobs. And also, as you know, we need real accountability on the state spending. Like, how do you guys feel a state senator giving money to the nonprofits and these nonprofits giving millions of dollars to the cleaning company of the state senator? What do you think about that?
Well, that's circular money, is what that is.
Yeah.
Basically, you're taking taxpayer money and giving it to somebody who's going to give it back to you. What do you think is the what do you think that some of the money that's being spent should not be spent so that there's less of a bill for the government in the long run, so that possibly at some point the people don't have to spend as much money to get the services that the government provides that they want the government to provide? Where's the money being spent where it isn't really needed?
In fact, I see that the biggest budget for each municipal in the municipal levels is Board of Education. And in fact, studies show that, as like some people say that you spend more money then you have a more quality education. That's not true. Like if you look at how much money New Hampshire spends on the schools versus Connecticut entities spent, we spent much more, but their education quality is better than ours, and we should look at our schools and see, look at it in a way that, hey, like, do we have uh, enough utilization of these schools? Like, if the school is built for 1,000 students and there are only 300 students, what are we doing? Perhaps we should consolidate some of these schools and don't spend additional money on these schools, And instead of 4 high schools, perhaps 2 of them will be enough and get the same or better quality of education. And then we should also do science schools, which is consolidated schools between several municipals, like the crack system, in a more expanded way and bring high performing students together for their future. And then when it comes to the, like taking care of public works, I think that public works end of it can be done in an effective way too. And, like basically spend the money more in a more efficient way, use AI, use modern technology for the machines and try to do it in a more efficient way. Hey, if we are using old plows, which is constantly breaking down and causing more problems in the winter time, perhaps we should get the new technology plows, which can do it in a more efficient way in a much less time frame. It's just as an example, and also we should look at level of like the staffing and other things. and perhaps we can consolidate some of them. I know some of the, especially right now, municipals have problems in finding finance directors or town planners, and they start to use them in a consolidated way. Perhaps we should look at it that way too, you know. And there are lots of ways of looking at it as we look at the budget. And if you look at New Britain, when Ellen Stewart became mayor first time, there was a $30 million deficit. But when she left, that deficit was gone, and it came from effective management. And as it comes, let's look at it and see how much money we can save in an effective way and going that direction. And of course, one of the biggest costs is energy. We are in the AI stage, and electricity is the main thing. Since New York blocks all the pipelines, especially natural gas pipelines coming to Connecticut, it creates a huge problem for us. The cheapest electricity comes from natural gas, which we have lots of it, but we cannot build power plants because we are landlocked in Connecticut due to our neighbors. And New York doesn't care because they get their energy from Canada, from hydropower and others, In Connecticut, in 5 years, we get our majority of our energy from nuclear power plants, which is at 30% capacity right now, and it needs to be decommissioned within 5 years. And we don't have a plan. And what is the plan? Politicians and nobody says anything. And we need to plan that. And we need energy here. And that you can put nuclear power plants, but it can only be put at certain areas. It needs geography and certain, water source and other things. And we have only limited areas that we can put. We already put it, and we put electric boat next to it as a nuclear submarine,
And so what can you tell me about your knowledge of the grid system, the electrical grid system? Is it old and dilapidated, medium? Does it need upgrading? I mean, is that something that can be fit within the constraints of what the taxpayers themselves can actually afford, given what's going on right now with taxes and the way it's being spent?
In fact, right now, electricity is not even a state, city, town, or state problem. It is a federal problem. It is old, it is antiquated, and it needs to be upgraded. And instead of fighting with federal government, we need to work with federal government, and state officials' jobs should not be how much they sue federal government and fight with them. It should be working with the federal government and try to get as much money back as possible to Connecticut, which we already gave them as taxes. And that means that you need to work with the federal government. Don't be stuck in your political ideologies. Instead, work with federal government in stating that people need this, and this is a national emergency. Because if you look at the location of Connecticut, it is the central hub for all New England. And we are hosting, we have the big, major industries here. And basically in this age of AI that we are getting into, let's work with the federal government, overpass state boundaries like New York, which is doing to us, because federal laws supersede the state laws, and create more electricity and build the infrastructure that can distribute that electricity to everywhere.
So you're in favor of, if I have this correct, of the small nuclear plants that are being proposed at the federal level to handle smaller areas so that you don't have one central hub that has to be spread the energy out everywhere. But the smaller nuclear plants, which are safer, require less maintenance, and just a better idea. Are you in support of finding a way to get those implemented in Connecticut at any point?
I am definitely open to that one, you know, and also I am open to something else too, which is using battery systems for industrial complexes. Basically, that batteries can lower consumption of electricity, and they can also store electricity during off-peak times and use it on the on-peak times. And by this way, you can decrease the demand on electricity and balance it out too. It is not only micro, like nuclear power plants, but also, like using these new technologies. And then also, as I said, we should definitely work with New York and federal government and bring the natural gas pipelines here too.
So, is it possible? Just this is just a thought process here. Uh, for instance, I have solar power. Okay, not everything runs on solar power, but if I need it, it's there. So, at the family level, family housing, if for some wild uh, circumstance, everybody had a solar system in their house, it would require much less external power. Of course, external power still needed, but on an individual level, solar power is a good idea. But on a industrial level, it's not like business. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking. See, I don't like solar farms. I think that's a dumb idea. But the power that each individual family can produce for themselves saves them money, saves the infrastructure, and makes people more independent. Where would you go with that kind of idea?
In fact, on that idea, I can tell that, like I deal with the solar power issues. The lifespan of solar power is between 15 to 20 years. And if you want to implement that one, it needs to be implemented with new roofs. Basically, you need to change the roof and the solar panels together. You cannot separate them, you know? And it needs to go in co-injection, but also it needs to be backed up with a battery system. You cannot only use it or give it to the grid. Like it should be done in the new technological phase. However, we should bring back solar panel manufacturing to United States. Right now, we are depending on China to produce them, and it was exposed that China put kill switches inside these inverters of these solar panels, which is dangerous. They can basically do the kill switch and shut the power off. And we need to go with Made in America to implement that. And as you know, solar production requires lots of silica in it, silicons in it and other things. It's a nasty production, but it should be done with today's technology. Especially China does all of these things in the dark factories. When you say dark factories, it says that China's production, basically there are no windows, no lights inside. Everything is done by the AI and the robots, and it works all the time. It is the new manufacturing style, and we should look at that and bring it here too.
Well, yeah, that's part of original thought I had earlier too. You were talking about creating jobs for the area
Yes.
we're talking about, and bringing jobs back from other countries would definitely help us in two different ways. For one, people that are out of work would have a job, and secondly, it would make us more secure because we don't have to depend on outside sources that may have a beef with us for one reason or another, or they want to make some more money and they charge us more than they should. Plus, then there's tariffs and all these things that go along with producing things outside this country and even outside the state. That's what I was talking about. Making things smaller and more unit sized for the individual because that makes each individual more independent. And you're right about the batteries. That's when I say solar power. I was talking about a solar power system where the batteries are included.
Yeah.
Because obviously solar power itself, that as soon as the sun goes out, you have nothing. So you have to have the batteries and the battery backup. And yeah, it's 10, 15, 20 years on a battery, but that's a long time on a battery. And if more people use them, it's like anything else. If more people are using something, the price will go down because the manufacturing then becomes you don't have to charge as much per unit in order to make enough profit. So that's just where I was going with that as well.
Yes, in fact, we are on the same page on that one, and I agree with you. It was, in fact, one of my plans about solving this energy crisis in Connecticut. But in the meantime, on top of this crisis, they put public benefits charges for the government's spending, and which is not right neither. And it is basically taxing people on taxes, and which we need to watch over that too. And it is sad that current administration in Connecticut didn't approve tax cuts, on the Social Security and tips. I, especially for the elderly people who paid all these taxes for their lifetime, shouldn't get taxed twice, especially on the disability Social Security, and also people who are working, getting tips shouldn't get taxed neither.
Yeah, I'm one of those older people.
Yeah.
So
It's something that also there should be a tax relief on the real estate taxes for the retired people too. Because these people already paid their houses and they basically pay rent to the municipals to stay there in their own houses, which should be looked at again. There should be a discounted, at least a discounted real estate tax on the retired people.
well, I don't mind paying my share, but
Yeah.
I'm also in a position where I can. But there are people that can't. So now you were talking about the gas having an additional tax on it for what was that? Some kind of uh, tax for what's that additional tax you guys were talking
Okay.
about?
So it's a public benefit. So someone in the
Yes.
chat is also asking, that's Doug. So public benefit, it's something that our governor decided to charge us with because people during COVID did not pay their bills for electric and heat.
Yeah.
So that means Eversource, that's a company that is our electric, and CNG is our heating, gas heating. They're both of these companies are able to charge us public benefit, which is extra dollars basically that we are paying because someone else did not pay their bill during COVID. And COVID was 6 years ago, right? So now we're still paying it, and that's just literally an extra charge that they were making money off of us, basically. And if your bill is $100, that could be 8, 10, 15, $20. And a lot of people heat their houses with electric. So their bills are five, six, seven, $800. I've seen as far as $1,500 where the public benefit is literally $200, added to your bill. So your bill didn't really need to be 1,500. It could have been 1,300. But there is absolutely no way to avoid the public benefit. And everyone is so upset about it. Because why are we feeding multi-million dollar companies with more out of our pocket? That's not a delivery, it's not a supply, it's just literally something that is completely, it doesn't even refer to your bill, to be honest with you. That's just extra charge for a company that just decided to literally charge you more for the bill. And we can't do anything about it, basically.
Agnes, you know what they did? They put the money on the COVID money that they got that was supposed to pay for these electricity bills for the people who couldn't afford it. They put it to general fund and used it themselves. Now they want us to pay for it, which is not right,
But
as
why
you
are
said.
we still paying for it 6 years later? I mean, like,
Yeah.
when you really think about it, Connecticut is what, about 3 million people?
Yeah.
All right, so if you are going to charge, well, you can't say it's 3 million. Let's say 2 million people has electric accounts, right? Let's say 2 million people do have homes. They pay electric bills, right? So if you charge 2 million people times $10 every single month, how much money is this?
It is a lot of money. I will tell you something. It is
It's
people.
crazy. And the higher your bill is, the higher public benefit is, right?
Yeah.
I just went and try to look for the bill, but unfortunately I cannot really find it. I only have my gas bill here, which I never really pay on time because I'm broke. So that's my shot of notice that they actually send me for $315 that I have to pay by April 21st. But I mean, if your bill somehow is higher than usual, which my electric bills are not really that high until I use AC. And as a matter of the fact that what I want to tell you is I'm sweating my ass right now because I do not want to bring the AC upstairs and turn it on just yet because I'm in the middle of April. I have not paid my gas bill off yet. And I'm already, being kind of pushed with electricity bill because I to be honest, normally I would run the AC, but I'm just gonna kind of suck it up and I'm not gonna run it because I don't want this bill to be anything crazy. Like, I'm already paying $150, and I'm the only person that lives in this apartment. This is like 1,200 square feet apartment, And so, like I said, couple loads of laundry, probably couple. I have another fridge downstairs in the basement, and I'm responsible for the lights, but all the lights are, in the building, they are like motion sensor. There's not like million people coming and going. And the public benefit really, I think on my electric bill is it's like 15 or $20, if I'm not mistaken. I can't find my bill right now. But it drives me crazy because, okay, it's $15 here, it's $20 there. I just paid my taxes. I always have to pay in. I just on Monday I filed my taxes. I always wait to the very last freaking minute just because I work for myself, so I have to always pay in. So I'm not giving them the money in February. And I was just I've seen how my taxes went because I filed them myself through the TurboTax. And also I mean, this property really kind of screws me over a little bit here on taxes. But anyways, I don't get any refunds ever. I always gotta pay in, and I'm just always so upset about
In
it.
fact, in fact, that's what I am trying to say, you know. Do you know that your public benefit charges also includes building electric car charge stations? Basically, we pay
Really?
for that, yes. And it is just unbelievable, you know.
Wow,
And
I did not
then,
know that.
like, they fund lots of things from that. And the best part is, it is Pura who's appointed by the governor, and then Attorney General questions that organization who's appointed by their own party. And
I
then,
know. I know. Have you heard about this $500 million error? They call it.
yeah,
Like, what
that's
the
why
hell?
that's why we need accountability in the state, you know, like somebody saying something what is going on. And let's see something, okay? Connecticut is a constitutional state, okay? And it's
Supposed
the
to.
constitution state. Basically, this is our nickname. It comes from constitution in our history. If you look at our, for example, right to bear arms clauses like Article 1, Section 15, it protects people more than Second Amendment, even Second Amendment combined with 14th Amendment, you know? And basically it states that, you know, like a person in state, you know, like has a right to bear arms and use it for self-defense and protect the state, you know, defense of the state. It is plain English. And, you know, like still they come after us. And they come after us, all of these. And one of the reasons Connecticut was formed, you know, all the things has to be discussed at the committees, then it goes to the House and Senate to be voted, okay? And these committees need to be bipartisan. Guess what? Now Democrats are pushing new laws to change that, and then they want to do it with majority. However, Connecticut was formed that way because we are a constitutional state. We are not a democratic state, you know. We are
Yeah.
formed on constitution like United States. And the founding fathers and also Connecticut's founding fathers did this because they said that, hey, we want to have a constitutional state because we don't want majority to oppress minority, okay? And every decision needs to be made together and passed together. And right now we are at a stage when there is public hearing on these committees, they don't even want to listen. The room is empty. The person, only committee chairman, only he, you know, like tells your name to show that he is present there. They don't care. And after a certain time, they don't listen to everybody. They cut it off, you know. And they pass, and even if there's a huge opposition, they pass the laws. They don't care. This is called oppression. This is not called representation. This is called ruling. And it mostly happens in societies, you know, like all fascism comes from socialism. And it has a socialism base. And these are people use socialist policies to come into power, and now they are oppressing people. And you see that they are trying to pass now all the, you know, like try to make legal gun owners criminals on purpose and try to put more gun regulations and come after the people instead of going after criminals. And you know, like Many people don't realize that the new convertible pistol ban, it's not only for Glocks. The other one is Canex and others. They will ban most of the cycle fire pistols. And guess what? Ban comes first, confiscation comes later. Many people think that I am grandfather. It doesn't work. Look at Virginia. Look at Rhode Island. They first put the bans, then they try to now take back the guns by force, which is not right. Because they can even change these laws when it goes from committee to the House by voting. For example, they can put one word, possession of that firearm, as a crime too. Overnight, most of the gun owners in Connecticut will become criminals if that goes that way. And this is just like oppression, you know. Guess in our history, let's look at who did this. British did it before our independence war. Okay? Look at it. Now, Canada, Australia, British does it. In Britain right now, if you say anything against the government or their policies, or even make a Facebook or social media comment, or even share a comment of somebody else, they put you to jail.
Yeah.
There's an oppression of government.
Yeah.
And it is coming here. And we see it in other states already. And they do it in the same way. I am afraid that, if we don't increase our presence as Republicans and conservatives in the elections, guess what? We are going to lose our freedom and liberty. And we need to be mindful of that. And what do we speak, Agnes, all the time? If you're a Republican and you don't vote, you elect Democrats.
Yes.
And we need to all vote in this election. And also, the reason that I decided to run was we have 151 representatives in Connecticut, and there were only 61 Republican candidates.
Yes.
And I volunteered and decided to run as a candidate. And guess what? As of 2 days ago, it was only 80 candidates. Like, we need more people take the responsibility and run for elections.
Yes.
This seat should not go uncontested,
Yes.
Hey, you don't have to win. Or, don't be afraid of losing. Just give a good fight and show presence and show that you care. Because if we don't do that,
the super majority is overwhelming in Connecticut.
Yeah.
It literally is. There is literally no one to oppose Democrats in this state. And there is a lot of people that are Republicans. It's just that they don't care enough to do something and stand up. I do not believe that Connecticut is blue.
No.
If anything, we are purple, definitely not blue. Because why do I meet so many people, wherever I go, okay? I meet Republicans all the time, okay? Is it just my luck?
No,
Am I a magnet to Republicans? I don't know. But listen, it's funny. I have said that so many times. I clean houses. I have about, I don't know, like 25-ish houses altogether that I clean, let's say my clients or whatever. Only one is Democratic in West Hartford. And they're Jews. Okay? Only one. How? How in the hell? Out of 25 that has left, right? I had to build my business a little bit back up after COVID and all that. I had a few clients that were left over from that. But it's funny because you can see people have either American flags flying, or they have something that's Trump, whatever, whatever, or they now wanted to speak about it, and sometimes I will mention something, or sometimes they will see the sticker on the back of my car, and I had FJB magnet on the back of my car, and my clients were like, oh, we really love your sticker, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you're Republican. And this is how I found out, because I have never really spoke with my clients, you want to kind of keep a professional type of relationship with them. But the minute I put that sticker on when Biden became president, I found out that all of my clients but one are Republicans. But I'm just gonna have to come back and ask the Jewish people if they are still Democratic, or did they maybe switch, because Trump just loves Israel so much now, you just never know. So I'm just kind of taken by it, because like, how is it possible that I come across all these people that are Republicans in Connecticut, in the most democratic places you can imagine? Like, for example, Glastonbury, Democratic, almost 100%. Every single person that I clean in Glastonbury, and I think I have about 8 or 9 houses there, are Republicans. Flags are flying, and they are registered as Republicans, because whenever you put their name, in Google, it will tell you what they're registered as, and I'm just like, something is wrong. As we know, I don't know if you know, but we have this group of people, United for Freedom, that they're doing the voter fraud. And all together in the last election, not the mayoral one, but the one with the presidential, so Connecticut has a little bit over 3 million people. So 600,000 votes were basically illegal in Connecticut. And I just did spoke with someone. It's funny because everyone is talking about the election fraud. And I just wanted to mention to YouTube and Facebook, in case you wanted to strike me, take me down, whatever you the fuck want to do to me, okay? This is being proven. It's audited, and I am not lying about this, okay? So in case anybody wants to know, the 600,000 votes that has showed up was illegal, in Connecticut. So if you really want to think about it, we have about 3 million people. There's only 20% that votes, okay? And in New Britain, we had only 3,000 people voting last time for the mayoral election. So Bobby was only elected by 1,500 people out of 70,000 in New Britain, because he won about half. So that was really not a good turnout at all. And so that's why I refuse to take him as a mayor, because 1,500 people should not be enough to vote in a mayor in the city as big as New Britain is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
In
And
fact,
so,
I
go ahead.
I am 100% with you, Agnes, on that one. In fact, even if we have lots of big gerrymandering in Connecticut, on the elections, federal elections. In the last federal elections, in fact, 40% plus was Republican and 50% was
Yeah.
a Democrat, 42% and 50%. And guess what? There's zero representation of Republicans due to gerrymandering. And as you said, the voting is questionable in Connecticut. And the biggest examples are in Bridgeport.
Yes.
And Democrats got convicted, and high-end party officials got convicted for fixing their own primaries even.
I
Come
know.
on. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't get better than that. And they say that, elections are secure in Connecticut. You are exposed.
No. And I can give you 2 examples. that has happened to me personally, and no one is going to ever try to tell me that our elections are secured, and there's just no way. One time when I went to Convoy of Honor, this was when our friend Mona have had and like honoring for veterans and stuff like that. That was in 2022.
That was in Branson.
Yeah, that was 22 or 23. 22 probably. I think it was 2022. Um,
Yeah.
I was going to that rally and it was in Missouri. And so I had to vote early that time. This was in November, and her rally was running exactly at the time where the election was. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to vote early. All right. Well, I went to the city hall in New Britain. I got my ballot. Obviously, I have a video. Okay. And I was wearing, you will never believe this. I was wearing a fuck Biden hat to the city hall in New Britain. And they loved it. They loved it. They're like, oh my God, I love your hat. I love your hat. You know, at that time, I mean, New Britain was Republican. And so I sat down and I have this video. I remember like today. I showed everyone, you know, how the ballot looked like, whatever. I scratch whatever I needed to scratch. Obviously, all the way up and down Republican. That's how I always vote. You're not going to see me vote any other way but Republican, just because I'm conservative and I come from a conservative country. So anytime I just like it, the way how Republicans are running everything. And so I casted my ballot into the machine, right? It went in, right? And then I go to the rally. I come back after a week or however 5 days was it, and then I find in my mailbox another ballot that was sent to me for some unknown reason. If I already got it, you know, at the city hall, I should not be getting another ballot because
can
I
feel
could
that. I was on the stream when she did it.
Yes, exactly. So there you go. And then the second time, what happened? The DMV screwed over my at the time boyfriend. When he moved in with me, we switched his address to my address, and his driving license, his CDL was running out, I think, and he needed to renew it. Yeah, something like that. And I was like, okay, so you need to renew it. You need to put my address on there, and you need to register to vote because the Trump election was coming up. And I remember this was in June. No, I'm sorry. This was in August, and in November we were going to vote presidential. And so we made sure that we switched the address and we switched his voting registration to my address because he originally was from Torrington. And I am not driving an hour to Torrington for him to vote. And obviously, if you're with me, you're voting Republican and you're definitely going to vote. So no question asked, right? And then so, okay, we go and vote, you know, at the day. So obviously, I've been already registered for a long time, so I'm on the list, no problem. He gives his license, he's not on the list. He cannot vote. Imagine that shit. So they did not register him, okay? And just because I'm an organized type of a person, you know, I couldn't ever really do what I'm doing if I wasn't really organized, you know, with right now 2 jobs and also being involved with everything. You know, I had the piece of paper that we got at the DMV, you know, when it said that he was registered at my address. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. I was like, there's got to be something about it. You are trying to stop people from freaking voting. And because he did not registered as unaffiliated. He registered as a Republican. I think this is why they tried to stop him from voting, because they already knew if they're going to mess up his registration, he possibly are not going to want to go to the city hall, stand there for 4 freaking hours or how long it took, because we went after work. This is where I work. He worked, so 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, where I said, no, we're not going to eat dinner. We're going to go vote. So we took our asses, went to the Crystal Ballroom, because this is where my district is, and he's not on the fucking list. And I'm like, is he going to be on Torrington list? And the lady is like, no, because if you're already registered here, he's not going to be there either. And I said, so what do we need to do? They sent us to the city hall. We stand there for 4 hours to register him again so he can vote. And you want to tell me this is not a fraud? I came home and I said to him, I have that paper. I'm sure I have it. And I went and I looked for it. I looked for it for like an hour, because who the hell knows where it went. But I then finally found it. And I said, look, you were registered on my address. You were supposed to be on that list. So what do you do if that happens to you? And now you cannot do the same day registration. So who's going to be responsible for that? I want to know. And who sent the second ballot? I want to know too.
There's a bigger problem. In Connecticut, there is no requirement of picture ID. Basically, you can go vote with a library card if needed, but you need a driver's license to take, like deposit your recyclable bottles. That's another question. But it comes to this.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have an ID, you can sign an affidavit saying that I am this person, and you can still vote. There's no ID requirement in Connecticut, basically.
I understand, but as long as they did not have him on the list, they said he did not vote.
But as I said, and when they do these lists, are they checking citizenship of these people?
I believe they should be checking the citizenship, because
but they don't.
I know. You go on a website, and how you register is you promise that you are a citizen, and no one checks this. They don't reject your registration if you are not a citizen. So whoever else now could go and register, and then later on they should be on that list. I just want to know why my ex-boyfriend was not on the list that time. Was it because they were already screwing something in the DMV, which was the case in Bridgeport as well? Bridgeport I did a whole entire stream when we were talking about the new voting machines and stuff like that. I talked about the voting fraud in Bridgeport, and that was also the case when they found the DMV person in the DMV guilty and charged and sentenced for messing with the registrations at the DMV.
Yes.
So I'm like, how are we going to make this fair? We need to make the elections fair. And I don't think anybody understands this, that there is just so many things that are happening. And it happened to me twice. How like in a couple years, there are 2 separate accidents where they never should happen.
In fact, it is amazing that Democrats, oppose SAFE Act, but they were the ones who were okay with the True ID. And True ID requirements are exactly the same as SAFE Act. And, I don't understand that part. And then they are okay that everybody can vote without an ID, but they cannot even deposit and their recyclable bottles.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
So that leads me to another question, if I could. When you get elected and you're in office, Do you have any way of putting through something that would clean up the voter rolls and to actually change it to ID required and citizenship required? Is that something within the power that you would have if you were voted in or not?
In fact, but it power comes from this. Okay, there are two ways. In order for the bill to go to the House, you need to be in a committee, and I will try to be in the judicial committee. Then I can, like be a part of these bills, that we can propose. However, as soon as the bill leaves, then it goes to the House, then everybody has to vote on it. But right now, nobody says anything much, and with the, minority, representation that we have, they cannot do anything much, which needs to change. We need more people on the Republican side to raise voices and fight with them. And when I say fight, I'm not speaking about constructive fight. Like to see what is best for the people of Connecticut. What is the best for the citizens of Connecticut, and then try to do it in a way that don't try to stay with the partisan ways that comes from federal. Look at it way what is the best for the people here, and we need ID. We need ID for anything. For a state, when you want to get your gun permit, don't they require your ID? Yes. When you do concealed carry, even if you have a concealed carry permit, but you left it home and you have your pistol with you, and state has the record that you have it, they catch you, you get arrested. Why do they do that then? And we need basically show to the people that, hey, you are not alone, and somebody will expose you what you are doing. And our representation in the Republican representation in the Hartford are doing their best right now, even if they are super minority. They are doing their best. However, they are forced on lots of things too. But they need more power, and that power will come with more representation and having more Republicans in the seats.
Yeah. I mean, Bank of America, right? It's a very famous and known bank.
Yes.
And not too long time ago, because I also work for a travel agency, and I used to drove to airports, or I drove to New York with some people, whatever path, like tourists or whatever. I was a guide here and there, and I still do some of the stuff for them, kind of on the phone or like on the computer, whatever. And my boss writes me a check, and the check is from the Bank of America. And I remember I was like, I'm not gonna put this check in a bank. I'm just gonna go and cash it, right? Because I needed some cash for whatever reason. I was gonna do something. I can't remember what it was. And so I went straight to the Bank of America, right? And they asked me for 2 forms of ID.
Yes.
And my fingerprint
on
the God. Check to cash the check on my name. I was like, wait, hold on a second. What did you say? I said 2 forms of ID and a fingerprint. Okay, she pulled out this freaking black little thingy that you put your fingerprint in, your finger in the black thing, and then you have to put it on the check. So they have to make sure it's you, 100%, 110% you. And I was like, whoa. I said, first of all, I'm not leaving my fingerprints anywhere else, okay, than the immigration office that I had to do like 15 million times, when you get in, when you get a green card, when you get a citizenship, like it's 15 million times when you're an immigrant and you're trying to be legal here.
Yes.
Trust me, the amount of freaking fingerprints you're gonna do is overwhelming.
Yes.
So now this is a traumatic experience for me, and I do not give my fingerprints to anybody, and definitely not giving my fingerprints to Bank of America. And I was like, excuse me? Yeah, no, I'm all set. So I took the check, I went in my bank, and I just, put it in my bank. I said, I'm not doing that. You people crazy? 2 forms of ID and my fingerprint.
Yes.
And we cannot even have an ID for freaking elections when that's supposed to be the most important thing in a whole entire United States. Just because there is so many people here, you have to weed them out. You cannot let people vote that are not citizens. The people that are just here as guests, I believe if you are a resident or any kind of other visa, a tourist, a work visa, whatever else is it, you are a guest. And even if you are illegal, which we have tons of illegals in New Britain, by the way, you are a guest in this country. Basically, you really have no rights to anything. You should not have rights to anything. I mean, overall, illegals, a lot of times, the ones that are here for a very long time are the people who are very hardworking. They're still paying taxes. They're just not really able to get benefits, or they were not able to get benefits at some point. They're still not going to be able to get, it's a social security or whatever. Like the people they don't have social security number, they're not entitled to any benefits. But we have to weed out all of them, okay? And whoever decided from being a resident, having a green card, to become a citizen of this country, we have the right to decide who is the one that is going to run this country, and no one else should have that right. Because why? I don't even vote in Polish elections. Why? Because I am not there. I don't live
Yeah.
here for 20 years. I have no idea what the affordability is. I have no idea what the rents are. I have no idea really what the economy is unless I figure it out from, the media or TV or like internet or somewhere else, or unless my parents are going to tell me. But they're never even going to tell me because they're retired already. So
Okay.
what they can really know about what's going on in Poland, and what am I gonna just go and decide for them from America? Because it's freaking,
Yes.
it's
You know
stupid.
what? Both of us appreciate two things a lot: freedom and liberty. And we are Americans, okay? And
Yeah,
we appreciate this country a lot. If somebody attacks United States of America, I will be one of the first ones on the line,
yeah,
defending America. Okay,
yeah,
that's the number one thing. And I love this country. I love the principles and the Constitution. And we will all defend this country. And as you said, as citizens, we should be the ones only voting. And in fact, it's a federal law. And enforcement should come from the states. Make sure that only citizens vote. However, they don't play it by the game, and they play this, dirty games. In fact, do you know that Republicans won every state on federal elections where picture ID is required?
yeah.
When there is no picture ID required or no ID required, then Democrats start to win.
hmm
Do you think that numbers lie or the facts lie?
I honestly, I believe that a lot of elections that we have had, including New York and Connecticut, would turn out completely different if we have had the possibility of weeding out just citizens being able to vote.
I think that's a requirement anyway by constitution and by law. And only US citizens need to vote, and it needs to be enforced accordingly. And
Yeah.
it needs to be done. And as I said, when we started this, like video call, like it is said that our current elected officials, they don't care about constitution, and their number one priority is protecting constitution when they get into the power, you know.
You have to
But
clean up the voter rolls. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter because things being electronic these days, you can just pad the numbers easily. I'm not going to say that's what happened, but that's what happened. So uh, that has to be cleaned up. You have to clean up the voter rolls. It's that simple.
in fact, we need to look after the ballots ourselves too, like every Republican, like should, like make sure that the votes are counted and they are accurate, and that double check it later what it comes out. We need to take ownership of the voting of the ballots, and that's the number. Ballot security will be very important in these elections, and we need to all take action on that one. And you know what I am afraid of? God forbid something happens and I pass away, and 50 years after I pass away, somebody votes under my name under Democrats. I don't
Yeah.
want that.
Yeah, I know. I know.
So
I mean,
you want to vote after you die?
Yeah, I don't want that.
you know what? I mean, I talked about this also one time on the stream that sometimes when you move a person to, let's say, a hospice or like assisted living or somewhere else, and they die in that city where the hospice was, they never get reported to where they died in the city that they actually lived and had, for example, their address in. So they never being taken off the registration. You
Wow.
imagine that? So, for example, you lived in New Britain, but let's say you went into hospice in Plainville, but you still remain registered under your New Britain address. You die in Plainville, you are still voting in New Britain after you die. You know that.
Oh my
So
God, that's
that's freaking insane.
yes. In fact, we saw that when the Dodge did investigations and audits, how
Yeah,
200-year-olds were getting social security and checks, and hey,
yeah,
we
I,
need.
I like the 300-year-old guy who voted before the country was even here.
yeah. I mean, guys, like the Democratic supermajority literally has broken Connecticut so bad that nearly everyone you speak to wants to move out. Think about like it used to was a lovely state. When I first got here 20 years ago, it was completely different than what it is now. And so the Democrats literally have replaced us with illegals, in order to secure their supermajority. How sad that is.
I
And
will.
I just don't want to allow this to happen.
I will tell you something. In the past, only 100,000 people got government subsidies in Connecticut. In 2025, 1 million people got
Yeah.
one type of government subsidy. Okay,
Yes.
I'm not speaking about full subsidies, like one type of a government subsidy, but got it, you know. And it is, like we are coming to a stage that this is socialism, basically, like, and when there's socialism, everything dies. And the only thing that can overcome socialist mentality is the free market. And we should, like impose free markets everywhere. And that's the only way to go. But as you see, they are trying to regulate everything right now. Regulate businesses, regulate everything, and businesses run away. And Connecticut became 49th state in business friendliness. We are
Yeah.
the one of the last ones, which is not good. But in the meantime, Florida and Texas, they are just exporting all the companies and growing. And while we are just sending it to them, which is not good. And we need to make it more business friendly. But in the meantime, as financially, they are saying we are healthy, but we are one of the least healthy states. We are near bankruptcy,
Yeah.
you know, and we have lots of debt obligations, which is pushed to the future, but it's gonna catch up to us. And right now, we need to do a shakeup. And I don't believe in leaving and moving out because this is a state that we have lived, and now it's time to fight for it. And we need to fight, like leaving is not the so because we have our memories here, we have the family here, we have our loved ones here, we have all of what made us is in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Why do we have to live? It is time to fight for what we have and make a change
Now,
and tell people that we need a change.
you mentioned a couple times about you need more Republicans, and when you get in office, you're saying that there's you need a majority in order to get anything done. I understand politics. I understand how it works. So if you get elected this time, I also heard that. Sorry, I'm bouncing around a little bit here. I also heard that there's a lot of seats that aren't being that aren't competitive. In other words, there's nobody running against the other person. How can that change in time for this next election to even help move it forward now, as opposed to getting in and then you know little by little gaining seats? Or do you think that it's just going to happen that way?
In fact, I always have the hope, and sometimes you need to take the baby steps before you run. But then sometimes this run process can be faster, and we need to uh, work on it and increase our numbers. Let's not forget, like not too long ago, we had a Republican governors and Republican congressmen in the state. And we had senators, but as Joe Lieberman, as you remember, he switched between party lines based on what was best for his own people, you know. And t- uh, don't let's not lose the hope. Right now, people are afraid due to the cancel culture that we have, but they shouldn't be stopping us. In fact, they should motivate us to fight. And as I said, let's do something. Let's work and let's take responsibility. Run for office, because staying at home, watching TV, and complaining on the social media that won't help anybody unless we take action and we take responsibility for that.
Yeah, Sal, it was so funny. The other time when we were in New Britain, like flag waving at Democrats when they had no kings. I have posted this at multiple groups, and I was like, I am looking for a lawyer because I want to actually sue New Britain police, to be honest with you, for what they've done to us. I may be right, I may not be right, but I think the police officer that has had tried to shut us down was directed by Bobby Sanchez on the phone, what to do. And they were so very adamant. And I think that police officer judgment was influenced by a mayor, basically, because after making a reasonable, accommodations with me to take the flags down that we had in the park in the ground, kind of, he took upon himself, whenever I turned around and I went across the street to talk to the freaking libs, he decided that he wants to take all the banners and all the flags down. And one of the banners were Ned Lamont socks. And so what happens in New Britain is Bobby Sanchez and Ned Lamont are buddies together. And this guy couldn't stand that banner being there. And he did everything possible he could to take it down. He couldn't stand it. And, he was staring the cop on the phone, basically, because the cop, when I requested, give me a captain, lieutenant, sergeant, anybody, supervisor, and the cop was like, well, I'm the supervisor. I'm the highest rank right now. No one else is working today. And I'm like, so who are you getting orders from? And then when I said to the cop, say hi to Bobby from me, he just looked at me like, how do you know who I'm talking to? So what I'm right now with all of this is I requested all the body cameras, all the phone logs, all the cruisers cameras, whatever. But where I'm getting with this is what my point of this whole entire conversation, completely excluding what happened. Like I said, I may be right, I may not be, whatever, I'm going to take my chances, and I'm just going to try to slide on this as much as I can, and make some noise. But I have posted this on several groups, like Connecticut Republicans, whatever. And people are like, oh my God, like these banners are not going to really do anything, like what are you doing? Like protesting Democrats. This is not going to help, And I'm just like, what are you talking about? I was like, do you understand what connecting means? If I'm not going to get out there, if I am just going to be a keyboard warrior, I am gonna get nowhere. So is it a banner? Is it a flag? Is it wherever I am? I'm gonna make the noise. I'm gonna connect with people. I'm gonna go to events. I'm gonna do what I can to make this happen. Meaning flip city red. And people just are, and I'm like, so listen, you don't like what I'm doing. Tell me what you're doing. Oh, I went to the Capitol. I protested this and that. I put my testimonies in for this and that and the other thing. And whenever I said, oh, so I probably met you like 3 or 4 weeks ago at the Capitol, right? When we were protesting the vaccinations, homeschooling, and 2A, I said, laws that they're trying to put on us. This is probably where I met you, right? But my banner is not enough execution to let people know what we're doing here. And you know what? I really honestly would love for people to think outside the box, because whatever you are trying to do, someone else may not like it or may not agree with the execution of what you're trying to do. But at least I'm out there, you're out there, and we're trying to change something. If it was not for the freaking flag wave at the bridge And me trying to advertise this everywhere, all the banners and whatever else we were doing, me and you would never meet.
Hey, can I tell something, Agnes? Right now, let's work on Nibirutin, and then let's make a change. You know why? I, you know that I have been politically active on the, like on the federal side, and now I decided to take action here and take responsibility and move, like run for elections. You know why? Simple. If you don't take care of your home, what is the meaning of taking care of the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Start with our home, start with Nibirutin. Let's work on it, and let's try to flip Nibirutin to red.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hopefully everybody will do the same in other, like the cities and towns, and we can make a change. And even if we flip Nibirutin to red again, it is a major accomplishment for us
Yeah.
because that will be the hope for other cities and towns in the next election.
Yeah, everybody who's watching this, and if anybody sees this after the fact, you know who I am. Uh, Share this out. I like this guy, Sal. He's smart, and I don't say that about many people, and most of you know that. So this guy's the real deal.
Yeah. I
Thank you.
agree.
Thank you, both of you. And thank you for giving this opportunity to speak with you. And, hopefully we will be the light for the people. And they can see the light, they can see the hope, and we can make a change together.
Yeah. I think there is a lot of reasons why we are doing this. Why are we trying to change Connecticut so much? I mean, mostly it's the for me it's the affordability crisis that is literally the biggest impact on my life, and I believe on a lot of people's lives. When you mentioned Stanley, that we
Yes,
just lost Stanley.
yes.
So my tenant on the second floor has worked for Stanley. So this month I have not received my rent from that tenant yet. So she's probably on the unemployment. And just because, as we know, like entry level jobs are not paid, anything crazy in New Britain. I really don't know how much she was making. Maybe like 18, 19, 20 or something, maybe an hour. Her rent is right now $1,050 for 2 bedrooms apartment, and is slightly lower than the market, but I have not been really doing much to this apartment. It has not been renovated in years, so I think it's only fair that, she doesn't pay anything crazy for the apartment because, like I said, I moved in, bought the house, and I have never done anything there, except buying a new stove and new fridge, and that's it in about like 8 years. I have offered her that, I wanted to paint the apartment, but she says she doesn't want anything done because she doesn't want to pay anything higher than what she's paying. And I only went a little bit slightly higher because, the assessments, and I from $4,000 I'm paying almost $10,000 taxes now, so unfortunately that that has really affected the tenants at this point. With anybody who's a landlord understands that, when I first bought a house, my homeowner's insurance was $1,800. Right now is $4,500 a year, including the taxes. So my homeowners and the taxes are more than my mortgage monthly right now, to
It
be
is
honest with
sad.
you. Yeah, it's very sad, and I just actually looked at it this month because I already paid the mortgage. I have not received the money from her. Um, and she came about, like, I don't know, on Monday. Yeah, she came on Monday, and she was like, "Oh, I want to pay you the mortgage, this and that, and the other thing." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I still didn't receive it, but I know where she worked, so I know it was Stanley.
Yeah.
So this really is affecting a lot of people here, and I probably cannot really wait too long, by the time
Yes.
that she needs to pay me. I mean, I can probably wait another week, but then we're gonna roll into another month, and I really hate for people not to be able to even afford $1,000 freaking rent, because $1,000 rent is really low right now.
Yeah.
For two-bedroom apartments, like 1,000 square feet apartment. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, am I gonna have to really let her go? Like, I already have these thoughts. She's lived here for 20 years in this house, and there was a little bit of renovations done before I bought a house. So she has a newer cabinets, newer bathroom and stuff like that. But like I said, me personally, I haven't done anything to the apartment except buying a couple of things, and fixing a couple of things there. But like, I really don't want to let her go, and it's just sad. It's sad that we're losing Connecticut. We're losing all these jobs, and people need to understand that Connecticut is not a friendly state to open a business here.
No.
They tax you to death. We lost so many businesses here. I mean, GE gone. We had a huge GE,
Yeah.
General Electric, here in Connecticut. It's gone. I mean, like, yes, we are a huge manufacturing state, but when you really look at it, we have been losing all these jobs. I
In,
mean, businesses are moving to Tennessee, and everywhere else, wherever they can, to save on taxes.
in fact, I will
So
tell something, Agnes, on that one. God forbid
yeah,
that convertible pistol uh, law passes. This gonna make lots of businesses leave Connecticut too. Do you know lots of Glock pods are made in Plainville, Connecticut? Here.
yeah.
Then
Well,
Ruger is made here, you know. Like all these companies will move out because you cannot manufacture them anymore. Not only sales, also it is manufacturing them.
yeah,
Basically, they are passing these laws based on their ideologies, but it affects the economy in a bad way. Hey, do we see as a role model? California. Look at California. Everybody is leaving California. And now the rich are leaving California. New York. All the rich people are leaving New York. All the
yeah,
businesses are leaving New York.
yeah,
Massachusetts, the same. Connecticut, it is becoming the same, you know?
yeah,
And basically, it is like a assisted suicide mission in Connecticut right now. And we need to change that atmosphere. And
yeah.
everything comes from one party rule, you know? And when people, there's not, okay, if you do in a company, you do a project and you do the project management, right? And what do? You always take one person from each team. You know why? Because you want to have multiple ideas. You don't do it only on one idea, right? And then you come up with a solution. And what are we doing now? It is only one voice, and it is coming to an end that, like it is a dead end. And it is going to a dead end. We need to change that. and people needs to see that change and give it a chance. And hopefully they will do it because they see that there's some change happening, and they will vote accordingly. The key point is convincing people to vote right now, which all of us should work on that, and then tell them, like show them that their vote matters no matter what, and they should go to the polls and vote.
I agree. And then one more thing that probably not a lot of people knew. In Connecticut, we have nowhere to put our garbage, and we are paying millions to track it to Ohio.
Yes. We
And
closed the garbage burning plant in Hartford. That's correct.
yes, and so we are paying so much money to just pack the garbage into the trucks and literally bring it to Ohio because we don't have it anywhere to put it here in Connecticut. So, I mean, we have a lot of problems here, and probably next week on Friday, I'm going to try to do this every Friday, 8:30 p.m. I'm going to try to invite people to come and speak about, Connecticut and overall just, probably because we're all here in my stream. We are here all Republicans, and so we definitely have united on the convoy that we have for truckers and other people who wanted to join over the mandates. It really started in Canada and then it transpired to United States, and I was the one who decided to go there, and then this is how everything has started, and I'm still here trying to change something, and I'm like, oh, Trump got in, yeah, I'm free to do whatever. And then it was like, no, Agnes, we're going to try to flip city now, So, well, anyways, Sal, I am going to see you tomorrow. I am going to stream a little bit. I want to show, Jamie, I want to show you, and I want to show Tramal. I think I never met the guy, but I know he's from New Britain as well. I think he is, isn't he? Tramal?
Yes, he is.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna do a little bit of streaming tomorrow, and I want to make sure that I give a platform to people if they want to speak, if they want to come out and tell us what they're all about. I would love for them to do that, and I would love to distribute it because the power of social media, it definitely does a lot. And now we're only basically depending on social media, and we're depending on the internet and anything online we can dig, which mainstream media kind of went away a little bit. But Sal, I wanted to thank you so much. Like it's almost 11:30. I think we all gotta get a little bit of sleep before we meet tomorrow. And oh wait, I have another guest. Give me one sec, guys. Hello.
Hello, everybody. How you doing there tonight? It's me, Jericho here.
How are you? What's going on? Tell us.
I'm doing just great right now. You wouldn't believe it. It's unbelievable what's going on in this country. It's so beautiful.
Okay, what's beautiful about it?
President Trump's out there. He's doing many things out there. He's enacting that plan on Iran. The plan on Iran thing. I love everything that's going on right now. Build the thing. Build things out there. Like the ballroom. Things like that we really need.
Okay, sounds good. We're about to finish the stream, so thank you very much for showing up.
Hey there, Sal. You look like that guy, Sean. Is that Sean there on the stream? Is your name Sean?
Well, Agnes, it was nice.
It's a pleasure, guys. I'll see you all later on.
And, nice being on
All
your
right,
tonight.
we get calls as usual.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good thing. This seems like we, got some attention.
I know, right? I mean, we always been dealing with this. I don't
Yeah.
know, for some reason, trolls really like me,
Yeah.
and they really like to come on here and speak some nonsense or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, like I said, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna make it happen every Friday, 8:30 p.m. I hope I can make it because with two jobs is I'm a little
Yes.
crazy. So, but anyways, by the time we hit the election, we need to be able to speak and just produce something out there, like we need to focus on passing the information and however people think your execution is, whenever you're trying to do something good, just don't ever stop. There always is going to be criticism. I don't give a shit about it, and I'm always going to do what is right with my heart. And I hope that anyone else who is listening to this also will do what they can to make sure that we try to flip. But like we said, we need people running, because even if we will get a Republican governor, people need to understand that we cannot have majority of Democrats running the whole thing, because we're not going to be able to pass any bills or do anything. So we need representatives that are Republican in Connecticut. Just people, make sure whoever, just find the seat that is not taken and just try to run it. You just need some signatures, a little bit. If you live in your town for a very long time, okay, you probably have some neighbors here and there and whatever. Let's just try to unite and make this happen, because people are really so done with the lack of affordability, and this is just the worst state to start your business. It really is. It's being ranked one of the lowest, to run a business. So anyways, Ed and Sal, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. I hopefully will see you next Friday. And Sal, I'm seeing you tomorrow at the library.
Thank you very much. Dziękuję.
Guys,
Yeah.
have a good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.
Bye bye.